Happy 4th of July and welcome to June 2022's pickups. More niche games, some odds and ends, and one I'm very excited for this month. So, yeah, I hope everybody had or by the time you're seeing this, we'll have a great 4th of July. Lots of fireworks, stay safe. Starting off with, we got one that I actually ended up doing a stream for kind of an indie thing on Megavisions. And that's Rolling Gunner. This is actually the postcard that came with it, not really the game, but here's the actual game. This also includes Overdrive, which has a unique mechanic because it kind of enhances the arcade version, which is just the original Rolling Gunner, which was designed for kind of arcade sticks in mind, whereas the Overpower is more geared towards people using like your PlayStation 4 or Pro Pad for your Nintendo Switch, where you can use the right stick to actually control the sidearms of the ship and aim them in a direction you want. Whereas with the original Rolling Gunner, whatever direction you're pushing your arcade stick, whether it's forward, back, up, down, kind of depends on where the side gunners will actually fire. So keep that in mind if it's something you're looking for. This was a limited release from Strictly Limited Games, limited to 3,000 copies for the standard version. The collector's version is already sold out, but they had like 3% left, whatever that means, 20 copies, 30 copies, whatever that may be, left on their store, strictlylimited.com. If it's something of interest to you and you're a shmup fan like I am, so some interesting facts about that going into it. And then, of course, I had to support this one, the House of the Dead remake, with this really cool lenticular cover. And I think it includes some like standees and stickers or something. But this is another game that I streamed. I had a lot of fun with it. It's short, which some people complain about, but if you played the original House of the Dead, that's a short game as well. My only problem with it was kind of the crosshairs and realigning it, and then the fact that there's no uh, gun accessories for the Switch, which I really think they need at some point. I know this came out digitally on the PS4, PS5, and Xbox, and again, no gun accessories, which it's hard to play House of the Dead with just a controller. Just does not give you that same experience. I would recommend, if you have a PS3, finding that and using the iToy. That's pretty much the most modern way to do it. Or if you want to invest in like the Shinden light guns, which work for PC, and get it off of Steam, because I believe House of the Dead remake is on Steam as well. That would be probably the ultimate way to go. But you're spending close to 120 to 150 bucks for a Shinden, and then you're waiting an extra 2 months for it to actually arrive. But that's what I've discovered actually works well. Next, I don't know, honestly, why. It was like, I really needed to get this. This is Seven Pirates H. This is the standard version. They sold out of the collector's edition when I went to grab it, because it kind of slipped my mind. But this game was also on Vita. I do not currently have a copy. It is something, though, that I believe somebody has holding for me. But having it in English, that's even better, and it includes all the DLC that the Vita had. But it's kind of a crazy lewd game that, yeah, interesting mechanics. That's all I'll say about it here. This one kind of ties into the next one. I was surprised. Play Asia had a collector's edition that included the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Edition, as well as the new Capcom Fighting Collection, and this really cool cardboard slipcase with Darkstalkers and Street Fighter art on it. And I really wanted it, but the problem was it was 70 bucks plus another like 10 to 15 to actually ship over. So by that time you're looking at $80-$85, and I was like, I don't know if I want to spend that much for a collection that's already coming out here in the West. The only thing I'll be missing out on is basically the cardboard slip case for both that holds both games. So I was like, well, I'll just go find the game. I already own the 30th Anniversary Edition on PS4, but I don't have it on Switch. I was like, well, I know that that game's still out there. It's not out of print yet. So I hit my local Best Buy, and it was in the $20 value bin. and it actually came up as $13.99. So I got on top of it another clearance price off of it. So I grabbed a copy because they only had like 2 or 3 left, which kind of ties into this because I did pick up the Capcom Fighting Collection on Switch, which I absolutely love the game. I actually played it on the PS4 because again, I had the 30th anniversary collection on the PS4 and I played the crap out of this. If you're even curious about the Darkstalkers series, please give this game a try. Or wait for the Arcade Stadium 2 that Capcom is releasing digitally on just about every platform. But if you want a physical version, snag this. Especially the fact that Red Earth they threw on here, which was an arcade exclusive for the longest time. People kept asking for it to come to consoles, and it's finally in this collection. So they kind of threw it in as a freebie on top of Cyberbots, Puzzle Fighter 2, which is a really fun game. Very hard to learn, but once you get down the mechanics, it's super fun and competitive with friends. It's crazy. And then Gem Fighters, or Pocket Fighter, as it was called in Japan, which don't overlook Gem Fighters. It looks cute on the outside, and people are like, oh, it's childish, but there's actually a lot of depth to that game when you play it. It can be competitive, even though the controls are very easy, which I really appreciate. It allows people to jump into the game, kind of fool around. Tons of references to all kinds of different Capcom franchises. The fact that like Chun-Li turns into Jill Valentine for a couple of her hits is just amusing. And just seeing all the cute things that all the characters do. So definitely don't pass on that. And of course I had to go a little crazy and also get it on Xbox. So I have it for all 3 consoles. I am probably at some point going to get it on Steam, but I'll wait for that to probably go on sale before I get it. Digital games aren't going anywhere anytime soon unless they get delisted. I don't see this one being delisted for a while. Kind of controversy, or controversial, I should say. This is a game that I played a long time ago via emulation when I was very young, in my teens. And I knew that there was no way I was going to afford a Sega CD at the time. And there's this guy that I follow on Twitter who does a very good job with reproduction prints and manuals and even games. So I had to get from him when he announced it, Snatcher. This is his standard copy. I mean, look at this art that he chose for the front cover on it, and it gives you the full back. I mean, it's legit looking anyway. But the standard version, as an extra, he threw in the original soundtrack into this. And there's no copy protection on Sega CD games, so it's very easy just to drop in and it plays. And because this game is now going for $1,500, I would rather spend less than even a quarter of that price on the game just to enjoy it. So I'm really excited to have this. If you ever get a chance, look up ArcticCaveGaming.com is where I got this. He does a superb job. Lots of Saturn, Sega CD. He's really big into the Wonder Swan right now. He did some Nintendo disk drive stuff. And he does reproduction manuals for a couple Genesis games. So if you don't care about authenticity and you're like, hey, I just want the manual, something physical, definitely give him a try. I highly recommend his work. He does do a lot of stuff to a lot of his releases that he does. And it's good stuff, good quality stuff. And the last game for this month, this dropped in price quite a bit, which I'm not too surprised. I guess the one thing that catches me off guard is this is a Xseed release. And Xseed games tend to stick around on shelves for quite a while, and then like all of a sudden they just disappear. Tended to happen with like the Senran Kagura series, Harvest Fest. What is it? Not Harvest Moon. Some other like farming simulator type games that I really had no interest in, but some of the other releases were kind of unique, niche, which was right up my alley. This one was a prequel to a game that came out on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation Vita. And it was originally on PSP only in Japan, and they finally released it saying, oh, okay, we gave you the sequel, now let's give you the prequel to it. And that's Akibas Trip. And this is the collector's edition, which includes the art book and the soundtrack. And I think it was only it was under $20. So I thought it was worth it, especially when these Exceed collections release. They're usually full price, about $40, $30, depending on the game. But I try not to pass on Exceed releases just because of that fact. It's very much to me like NIS America or NISA. Any of those releases are kind of limited print in a sense, where they like U series and all that stuff you'll see on shelves for a couple months and then they just disappear, which is kind of frustrating because right now I'm trying to track down a copy of AI's The Simonian Files, the original game, as the sequel just released a week or two ago on basically all three platforms, but the original only released on PS4 and Switch physically. It is available digitally and on Game Pass, but I was more looking at trying to hunt down the physical game. The physical game now, even used, commands like $80 to $100. It's kind of crazy. And it just simply because it sat on the shelves for a while. I remember seeing it all the time at Best Buy and Target and all these other places, and then all of a sudden, after 6 months of its release, it was gone, which is scary. And I was like, kind of hoping I might find one hidden in a corner somewhere at Best Buy, but so far, I haven't had any luck in that. So kind of disappointing. Game Pass may be my only real opportunity to go play the game, or buy it digitally. Of course, it's still digitally available on all platforms. But hopefully I can come up with some extra cash to grab the sequel before it disappears off the shelves. It's my hope anyway. But just some warning to some other people out there who I know are into some more niche games like I am. Keep an eye out. And if anybody happens to come across a copy of the original, let me know. Other than that, that's all I got for this month. I hope July is a fun one as well, with a couple more releases coming out physically. And that'll be it for now. So, as always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.